Hey, welcome to Ed, a podcast about the teaching life. This is Conversation, no it's not, it's Check-In 35, and I'm your host, Shane Lawrence. Ed is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network powered by ATB. And joining me this month are two of the quietest people I could find, Shaun Smith.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm starting already.
I know.
I'm starting already.
Let's go. Of course you are. That's a record, I think. That was like first thing out of your mouth.
I'm very quiet.
And the other guest I have today is the meek and retiring and first time on the show, Nadine Young.
Yes.
Rookie.
It's me. Yeah, I am a rookie. Really.
So I think I don't know if that's
I promised I'd come. I'm
So
finally here. At least I'm here.
Yeah.
Right?
So
yeah, you're
good.
here.
Yeah.
So
That's
good.
what
Just
all
took
my
me a
students
year.
say too. It's like,
Took me a
I'm
year.
here. Yeah, I know. Well, it took
Yeah.
me actually, obstructing your path in the hallway and being like, hey, you need to come on the show.
Get on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
you've been on the mail list for a year.
Sorry, I'm here now.
Never responded.
I'm
Wait,
here.
do you feel welcome though?
No. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You better be here or else.
That's right.
I
That's
was,
pretty much how it went down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I took her lunch money and walked away.
Good. Can I share the said lunch money?
It was 50 cents.
I'm okay with that.
All right. Well, we got a great show today. I hope we'll find. Maybe we don't. I don't know. We have a show for you today. We're going to start with our wins and fails. We're going to talk about sort of not a work-life balance thing, but sort of a sacrifice success balance. Let's call it that. And then we'll wrap it up, of course, with wins and fails. Oh man, this show never changes. This is the 35th time I've done this. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I still can't get it right. Now we're going to wrap it up with timeouts. So wins and fails. Let's start there. I can start with a fail because I can. So we have it didn't even happen in the classroom. It happened in the staff room. So we have a staff member who's covering a mat leave right now. And he's leaving soon, like quite soon. And he was in the staff room. He was like trying to just fill up a water cup, like at a water dispenser thing. And he dropped his cup, and just off the cuff, I'm like, you're fired. And this is like literally a few days until he's gone. And yes, so he's very good natured about this. So thank goodness for that. But then after that though, Aaron Camponi, who's been on the show before, so I can name drop there. He proceeds to tell every single person who walks in this time room, "Hey, guess what Shane just did?" So nice. and the other teacher's still there too. So yeah, that was like just like mouth going a little bit faster than the brain. As soon as I said it, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Ouch.
That's good.
So yeah, that was. So I'm deeply regretful for my past actions.
We look good
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. I think so.
So we just cut it off there then? That's it?
We're done.
Yeah,
All right.
I know.
Thanks
We
very
have
much.
victories.
That's a
only
wrap.
have victories. For all the teachers out there listening, we only have victories.
Fail. I got one.
All right, go for it.
So, I have a student in one of my classes who is on a modified. So, basically, the math that I'm doing with her is slightly different. Mm-hmm. And so, while I'm teaching, she usually reads a book. So, because it's not something that she's doing anyway, and she waits patiently and loves to read. So, it's perfect. And then I realized I was teaching, and then the class went by, and she usually leaves a little earlier to give her some time to get to her, get out of the hustle and bustle in the hallway. And she was reading, and I was teaching, and another EA comes in the class and says, is that student here? And I'm like, oh, yeah, she's reading right there. It's time to go. So there's my fail for today. Yeah.
Just today.
Just today.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
I gotta win.
Of course you do.
I gotta win because I'm actually really excited about this one. I think this has been a really good year for me letting certain things fall that I've held on to for far too long, mostly out of fear, and they've crept up only in the last couple of years. But my win is actually surrounded around schedule, and my classroom has been busy, but it's also been. I like to say that I'm not a micromanager, but I kind of am. I like to know what happens at every minute. And I've been on the show before, and I've said this a few times. I'm the guy who likes to photocopy every sheet of paper that I use for the year in the first day. And so that kind of keeps me safe for whatever it might be. this last little while, actually, and today was indicative of that. I started one class 20 minutes late. And my previous class, I don't know if that's illegal. I don't know if I just signed a new job.
Well, last time I started a class 20 minutes late is because I put my car in the ditch on the way to work.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, they asked me if I could do it again.
So the actual where the wind comes from, though, is my previous class. There's a student that was walking through some really tough things and just needed a space to talk. And I had this thought flash through my brain. I thought, I got to get back to schedule. I got to get back to making sure that everything's cruising. And I, the second I had that thought, it followed with, if I'm not here for this, what am I here for? And so the wind came in. I walked into my last class today, and I just said, guys, I need you to trust me on this, and also to respect this process, and just say, like, something very important is going on. And so if you can just kind of keep it low key, just keep yourself working away or just visiting. And they totally walked with me with that one. Like, it was just totally under control. We're absolutely respectful, asked me questions as I came back in. And I just thought, I think that is why I'm a teacher. It's just that availability to students, loving our students. I don't love the schedule. I love the students. And so I think in those moments, I just think this is why my heart beats. So it was really good. It ended up being, even though we started 20 minutes late, I think it was one of my best classes. So, and it was only 20 minutes long. So just a really cool experience with that. So that's my win. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
I wish I could spin a 20-minute late start that nicely. Wow.
It was fun.
Well, I'll bet.
It was fun. It's sort of ruptured my day. So if I am a little bit at loss for words today, which is not frequent, just kind of
we'll just poke you. It's all good.
Well, it's still the reverberation in my being that is like, oh goodness, that was a good day.
Right on.
So, yeah.
Right on. I had a terrible day, but it's just because I woke up with a monster headache and it's been there all day.
Tylenol and espresso. The official
I got
sponsors.
the espresso part, but yeah, I missed out on the drug part. So yeah, if anyone, well, okay, good.
Do you still have it? Do you still have the headache?
Oh yeah.
I've had one for 3
it's
days. Yeah, I
pounding.
think it's going around.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. So
You want me to bring out the Tylenol 3s?
we'll see where the show goes after that.
You don't need no more Tylenol 3s.
Yeah. All right. So what I want to talk about, this has been something that's been on my mind just because of some conversations I've been having with other educators, is that whole balance between being, I guess, a quote unquote good educator or a great educator or an amazing educator, and sort of your personal inner resources and your sort of life. So it's not just work-life balance, because I mean, that's the same for everybody, but the idea, like, how much do you sacrifice to be a good teacher? Because I think, or I mean, like, this idea got planted in my head years ago when at the big conference we do every year, the teacher who, remember the film Freedom Writers, Hilary Swank, where she kind of goes into this inner city school and gets them all writing and basically, like, you know, creates this huge transformation in a lot of people's lives. Very positive things. But she came and she talked at the conference. And the main thing that I went away with this is that she's a little unhinged. Right? Like, she's a little bit, like, there's just this, you know, maybe with genius comes a tinge of madness. I don't know, but she just didn't strike me as someone who's healthy. And I'm not bringing this up to, like, slag her, whoever, I can't even remember her name, so that's
She's
terrible.
not a sponsor.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Not a sponsor. She now runs ATB Financial. Sorry, no, I'm listening. This is actually quite good.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it got the wheels turning, and now I've met other people. And I mean, it's not to say that every teacher who's really, you know, doing awesome, amazing things is unhealthy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know for myself, to get to that point where they're at, I would have to, like, get divorced and be a miserably unhappy person. So, I mean, how do you maybe balance that? Because I mean, we're all probably driven by the desire, at least to some extent, to be a good teacher. But where do you draw the line between that and, you know, having good relationships with your family and, you know, up to 6 hours of sleep maybe, or maybe more in the night? Like, how do you figure that out, or have you? Right, we're going to get back to that in a minute, but first I want to tell you about Park Power. They're a provider of electricity and natural gas in Alberta that offers low rates, awesome service, and profit sharing with local charities. In Alberta, you get to choose who to buy your energy from, and if you switch retailers, nothing changes about the delivery of electricity or natural gas to your home or business. If you have an existing contract, you're going to want to find out the terms for leaving, and if you don't, then it's even easier to sign up for Park Power. The choice is yours, and there's a better deal available to you. You can learn more at parkpower.ca. All right, let's get back to our conversation. So, I mean, how do you maybe balance that? Because, I mean, we're all probably driven by the desire, at least to some extent, to be a good teacher. Mm-hmm. But where do you draw the line between that and, having good relationships with your family and, up to 6 hours of sleep maybe, or maybe more in the night? Like, how do you figure that out? Or have you?
Have not. I wish I could say I have. I have not. And it's something that I struggle with as well, because we have lives outside of our jobs. And for me, always in the back of my head is, how can I do this better? Or what am I not doing? Or how can I meet the need of this student better? And yet, you could be wrestling with that for days, years, months. I never seem to get on top of that myself. Mm-hmm. I was hoping you had a solution.
Are you kidding?
It's the wrong podcast.
Yeah.
No, I honestly don't. And what the thing is there comes a point in time where you recognize that you are sacrificing things that you really shouldn't be sacrificing, and you have to to put the reins on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And recognize that I can only do what I can do, and then something else has to give somewhere else. But you do the best that you can. And I don't know, do we always struggle with wondering if we are, being that good teacher? I don't know. I don't have the solution to that.
I wonder if, I can only draw on personal experience from this. I'm from a family of teachers, so I don't know how many billions of generations, probably an exaggeration there, of teachers I come from. That's always been at the the forefront of my mind, because I'm from a family particularly of high quality teachers, and the ones who the movies don't quite get written about, but they should. Mm-hmm. And the sacrifice, being a kid on that end of the sacrifice. I think sometimes we in culture, and I think both Christian culture and media culture, celebrate the martyrs. I'm not sure we should.
Like Mr. Keating?
Yeah, I think and I'm going to use the word myth of martyrdom. Like, yes, if you give yourself on behalf of others, that's fantastic, and brilliant and unselfish and all those sorts of things. But I think as a culture, we've created this living martyr as the best possible thing.
Mm-hmm. Can I just interject there for a sec? Because it actually just ties into a Twitter post I saw the other day. I almost never disagree with anything I see online, just because, I'm scared of, the flame war kind of nonsense. But it was a picture of, this it was anthropomorphized candles. And there's all these little student candles sitting in the desks, and there's a teacher candle that's being slowly burned down as it lights other candles. Oh, goodness. And it's something to do with that teachers are like candles; they consume themselves to light the fires of others. And I was like,
that's
really
horrible.
Yeah,
that's my career. That's what I'm here for. I'm
not interested in that.
When I'm done, then I'm just a little nubbin that gets tossed in there. I was I don't really agree with this. Sure, lighting fires is good, and that metaphorically, but I don't really I feel like my job consumes me some days, and it has in the past.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy. That's not a healthy state.
Yeah, we are here to serve the students, but at the same time, and of course, this conversation with our names being attached to it has probably dropped us off all speaking engagements at any conference event, because it's I've given my life entirely to the students. I have, but I've also lived on that side where you wake up in the morning, you're in the shower, you're thinking about what class is coming up, mm-hmm. and you're on the weekend and you're preparing for that, and then you realize that you have kids, and you're like, man, the ones that I'm teaching the least are my own kids, and part of the young teacher syndrome is I think we actually think those older, more experienced teachers who are not giving as much as we are to the school are somehow selfish or closed or have just let their fire die. Mm-hmm. And what I think it actually might be is those older, more experienced teachers are wiser. and they haven't burnt out. They haven't given up their gift of life and their youth and their immortality, they've actually prioritized much more effectively. So it's kind of like the guy in the back of the band that's just learning how to play, and he hits the gong really hard. Actually, come to think of it, that was me. And he thinks he's playing music, and then he turns out he gets kicked out because he's not very good. And you see that kid 6 years later, and he's in grade 12, and he's actually playing the gong in concert with everyone else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a terrible analogy, but I just like playing a gong.
In addition to that, you're saying basically that seasoned teachers recognize that where there are limitations, they know what they can do and they know what is not possible, and they are okay
with that,
with not being able to produce the impossible or the very difficult that would require them to go beyond what most people would not do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I know there's been times in my career, I can think of one specific time where I went like way too far, too far, like just about, like, candle metaphor. I was just nothing. I would that little, the little metal disc you get from IKEA, the candle in it. Like, I was just that little husk. I was nothing left. I was working 60 hours a week on the musical production for our school and teaching on top of that. So I was probably close to 100 hours a week for about a month and a bit. And it was like I was just barely human, right? It was awful, just awful. And I mean, I had to draw back from that, obviously. And I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a pendulum, though, right? Because there's been times where, I've gone too far. I've never gone, that was like the extreme circumstance, but where I've gone too far, where I've extended myself too much, and then I swing back and I don't extend myself enough. Yeah. And it's just like, it's trying to find that, where's the middle?
Yeah.
I think that middle, though, is health.
Yeah.
I think I've swung on both sides of that pendulum as well, where, not that you're mailing it in Jack Black style School of Rock, where
he has enthusiasm, though, man. He was awesome.
Well, he did, but in the opening scene, his feet are up on the desk, he's hungover, and he's like, and the kids are asking him a question, he's like, I just learned stuff, like open your textbook, whatever it might have been. I haven't been at that extreme, but there are times where you just go, I just got to get to like the movie phase of this program, and then you go, for an hour and a half today, I don't have to talk. And I think, I mean, there is some goodness in that, but I think the other side of this is the pendulum. I don't do this as much now, is you'll come with your pre-planned. So I do all my planning in August. It doesn't deviate from that plan for the most part, unless it's like cultural and you're responding to the kids. But what I would do is I would actually create 2 lessons in my mind. So if the handout or whatever I was doing that day was not going well enough, I'd create something even more for every single class. And so I just went, I'm so overinvested here that I'm actually, like, I'm being a rock star for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And then I'm going home, and I'm actually going to bed at 3:20. Like when I go home at 4:00, I was in bed watching YouTube, numbing out. So I think it actually is, instead of it being a middle ground or pendulum, I actually think it's just health. Do you smile and laugh with your kids? Are you living wholeheartedly with your family? Are you living wholeheartedly here as a teacher? And if we're not, because I think there's that bounds of, sorry, I'm speaking a lot. I hope this is okay. But
I'm going to edit out all of it.
Awesome. It's good. Fine. So like normal. Whenever I talk. Hey, by the way, I'm new here.
The ATB call me.
Sean's voice is not there.
We're going to take from his paycheck. I think one of the things that we put up 2 caricatures. We're supposed to be engaged somehow at home, but you see so many people who are just like on their phones and totally dialed out and at work all the time. And then you've got your caricature of professionalism and don't hug students and don't totally emotionally engage and kind of be this cold. And I don't think either of those are healthy.
Yeah.
I actually think let's return to health. Like, I'm going to go on the record and say, like, do I hug my students? I mean, not more than 40 times a day. So I'm within the realm of, but is that, like, when I walk down our hallway, I get to be not one of them, certainly not one of them, but I'm like the dad in the room.
Yeah.
Or I mean, when I see the kids go by you, I mean, you're not hugging students; they're hugging you.
Yeah,
it's true.
If I don't hit them with my cart, of course, by accident.
If I'm not holding my meter stick, I don't get quite as many hugs.
Yeah, well, I tried that today with a ruler in my hand.
Yeah.
But they got past it.
Yeah, I don't get hugs at all. No.
Teach grade 7.
Next episode.
I do teach grade 7.
That's the next episode. Hugging.
Oh my goodness. No.
Am I wrong though in saying like, because we've all been to enough conferences. It's all about teacher health and work-life balance and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, make sure you have a hobby. Well, you can be just as lost in your hobby as you can just having space. I actually think potentially, and I did this in my sabbatical last year, I really suck at doing nothing. And yet what is the best activity I could do? And the most irritating. I can tell you my first 8 days of my sabbatical was doing nothing. I have never experienced more anxiety in my life.
I'm good at it.
Me too.
I think I've
good?
developed that. Yeah, well, all my kids are grown, so
Teach me your ways.
I'm good at doing nothing. I'm good at it. But there are some people who my husband's not good at it.
What does nothing look like then?
Oh, sometimes nothing is literally sitting there and just honestly sitting down, relaxing.
Sitting down and
relaxing, maybe reading something that's light, very light reading. Honestly.
So I'm taking notes in my mind as I go, because I'm not natural to that. I got bored 3 weeks ago, so I refloored my entire basement, including the stairs, and painted all the walls.
Serious?
It was relaxing because I was doing something, but I actually got to be such an addict to busy that I actually think living wholeheartedly, health are things we should be pursuing.
Sometimes I literally will sit with a scratch pad and just doodle on my scratch pad. I'm not kidding you guys. And then sometimes it'll turn into me writing down my thoughts, just writing them. What am I thinking right now? And I wish I could, and I start writing it out. And then literally I'll have like 2 or 3 pages
like a journal
of things.
kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's not really journaling where you write. It's not thoughtful journaling. Sometimes it's just like
I have brain. Brain is here.
Nadine, nice font.
Ooh.
I seriously, I can do that.
It's like makes me think of like a grade 7 girls who write like, Tom Holland plus me, Tom Holland plus me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I actually have that on my.
It's fantastic.
What, Tom Holland plus Nadine?
No, not Tom Holland.
I
but
love Tom Holland.
I do have,
Great guy.
just to
Antonio
show you how
Banderas.
crazy I am, when we were painting our house on my ledge, there is an R loves N for Russ loves Nadine. I did that.
Oh, Russ. Okay.
And it's still there. We have not.
like Russell Crowe or?
No. Young, same last name as mine, Russell.
I got it.
Yeah.
And Shane, your viewers can see that R plus N.
If you
At
come to
what
my house
address?
and you walk up my stairs and look at the ledge, it's still there.
What's
I've just
the
never covered it.
What's the
know,
address for all the viewers?
Actually, you know what? Legit, I did that in the bedroom of our first home too. When we repainted it, there's a great big like huge J plus S. You can't see it because I painted over it, but J plus S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
There you go.
So we're in grade 7.
You guys are unbelievable.
No, we're just weird.
What do you see of the tattoo I got?
Yeah. My silence speaks volumes. There's no hearts around my house. Just love.
Just real love.
Just real love.
Yeah. So
All right.
Wow.
Cool. I think we've solved that one.
I don't think so.
What? No? You want to add something?
Well, I mean,
That's my line.
You
That's
think you
always
want to
like that.
solve it? We solved it?
We solved nothing.
What are we? We cannot solve that
This
issue.
is just a space.
You
This is a
picked up
space to
the
think, though, right? This is all it is.
major conundrum. Work-life balance and just
Yeah, but it's not just work-life balance. It's being awesome teacher and being
Awesome teacher
shallow,
versus-
broken human.
Can I throw out another layer?
definition
Yeah.
of
Is there space for? I think, and I don't want to use sort of battle imagery, but I wonder if, and maybe it's because this year has been so different for me. But when I look into the eyes of my kids, I think it's too valuable to miss out on this health thing, like this work-life balance, whatever we want to call it, whatever sort of is the mantra of the day, wellness, good living well. I think it's too valuable for us to just kind of discard it and go, well, let's like it's gone now. When I got early in my teaching career, I think it was my mentor teacher who described, she said, life is a grind. You just have to slug through it.
Ugh.
And I thought, what a horrific way. I don't want to live my life from Monday to Friday just existing or surviving. And then on Saturday, Sunday, I finally get to live and put so much pressure on the Saturday and Sunday to live that I don't live at all because I'm so frustrated because I haven't lived well. I think it costs us too much. I think, is our health coming when we are 55, 60 and retired? I certainly don't want to live that way, especially as an educator. So I think that's where sometimes we shrink back in the classroom, or we expend ourselves and try and find too much meaning in there too. I think that's the balance that we're really trying to strike. And it's the, I really feel this one keenly this year. It's too important. We're not going to get this time back. Mm-hmm. Again, no guilt and shame intended. But we're not going to get this time back with our kids. We're not going to get this time back with our family. We're not going to get this time back with our students, with our colleagues. You're going to have this time. So you can either live in reflection or in regret. I don't want to be the 70-year-old retiree who's like, man, I wish I had been, and not just always been surviving until Friday. So I do think this is important. I think it does actually make us a better teacher. Mm-hmm. I think it makes us far more free to the things that matter and less of a slave to things like, oh man, that one kid irritated me, or, oh, my principal got after me because I was 2 seconds late on the announcement, or who cares about that stuff? We're not going to think about that beyond this week anyway. So it's kind of prioritizing and going, let's be our full selves to our kids, because our kids will reap the benefits and so will we.
Yeah. And well, I mean, also don't forget, your spouse too, right?
Right.
But I mean, there's so many days that, yeah,
that other person.
What's her name
that's
again?
right.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many days I go home though. And I mean, like, I wish I had more energy for my kids, because it's like they'll want to play in the basement. We'll go down and play like 10 minutes of Lego, and then it's like, I've literally fallen asleep while I'm playing with my kids.
Yeah.
And then
Totally.
And my kids will just like crawl on top of me, and I'm just like,
as long as they crawl on your back, because they can massage it then.
I woke up with a giant toy truck on my face once.
Are you serious?
Like I was like, Daddy just needs to just lie down for a second. And like, Daddy, come play. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm playing. Kind of flop my arms a little bit, and then next thing I know, half an hour we get, and there's like a truck that's like a foot long, that just on top of my face. Didn't even notice. So I mean, yeah, I wish, right? I wish I had that level of energy to just take home, like, because I put a lot of energy into my classroom.
Yeah.
And I've even tried to not. And I still wind up doing it anyways. It's
Me too. I try to balance it out, and I end up doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And the biggest struggle for me is the pace at which we work. And I don't, 40 minutes, boom, 40 minutes, boom, 40 minutes. And I desperately try not to make that my weekend, and that's one of the reasons why I can sit still and do nothing, is because I choose to say, no one is telling me what I'm doing in the next 40 minutes. And so I'll sit. But I agree with you. I feel like there's that expectation, and it's not necessarily someone putting it on me, it's myself. I automatically think about, the student that doesn't get it, and what can I do to help that? Yeah. I always think about those who sit in the class who are frustrated. They want to, and they can't. And then I even think about the kids who are coming in with something else, like it has nothing to do with school. So their brains are already preoccupied. Oh, yeah. So the last thing they're thinking about is academics. Mm-hmm. And I think about that. And then you kind of want to be there for that. And then, the kid who wants to stick around, who does that? This place is full of kids who don't go home. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, I had a great home life, and I still liked hanging around school sometimes. You did? Oh, yeah. I was piecing out. See ya. Bell rang.
I was an hour early.
To school?
No. Leaving school.
Oh.
See, I would always stay after school because it was like my drama peeps. That's when I hang out with them. Right? So I'd like drama people, and like because like the school day sucked. Okay. Sucked.
But after school?
After school is great. It's awesome because that's when all the nerds would kind of like get together and hang out. So.
But you would hang out with your friends, not the teachers.
Yeah. There was actually one teacher. I never even had her as a teacher, Miss Comas. I remember she taught Spanish. And I would hang out in her room. But again, a lot of my friends were in there too, but she was pretty cool. But other than that, no, I didn't hang out in rooms because, And I always get after my students too. I'm like, why are you, go away? It's terrible, right? Talking about like balance, right? Just go play with your friends. But I mean, but the thing is, you got to feel honored in that situation where students are like, I have some time here where I could be with other people and I want to be with you. Yeah. And you have to respect that because, and it can be for any number of reasons, right? Just because they just like you. Yeah. And that's okay too. It doesn't have to be because when I go home, this awful thing is going to happen. It's like, no, it's just
like being here.
And even that is hard because then I'm like, I get home at 6 and my husband's like, what happened? I was just talking to a student. Yeah.
And I've made the habit of leaving right away. Not coldly, not rudely. Yeah. But I just know that it's gonna continue. So it's literally let's give her time to go transition. And it does help that I have a wife and practicum and 3 kids. So there's
Yeah,
that.
gotta go.
I got a heart out too every day, most of the time. My wife's actually picking up the kids today, but normally it'd be like, all right, it's 4:10, I'm gone, bye.
Yep.
So what you guys are saying is I went into teaching too late. My kids are all grown.
lost your main
I got
excuse,
no
right?
reason to be leaving
good.
early.
You got to get like a
Oh no,
dog
you
or
got
something
all
that
the
you have to let
reasons
out.
to be leaving early. Just cause.
Yeah,
I got to do that laundry. It's sitting at home.
yeah.
Nope,
It's hard
that's
to
not a
do-
reason.
I know.
Yeah. It's hard to think to do graciously though too, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk to you because I'd rather be in my car going home. And it's like, how do you spin that so it sounds nice? You know?
I think that one's a really funny one because I had a real hard time with that too.
Yeah.
But I literally have made it a habit where almost the conditions of the kids, just because of our schedule at home, it's like I got stuff to do. If you're gonna reach me, fully available at lunch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not
I mean,
available after school.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
better
good.
than I used to for sure, but there's
Yeah.
times where it's a learned skill
Yeah.
to graciously bow out of things. It's like whenever there's been a couple times where I've met like famous people, or people who are in the public eye, and I always marvel at how good they are at having really short conversations, and it just like. You meet like a really good politician or, someone that's like famous and they're really good. There's like spotlight on you and they listen and they have this great little conversation and they move on. You're just like, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do they do that?
And meanwhile, they just ditched you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so into my
But it
soul.
doesn't feel
but
like
they
a
do it
ditch.
so
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
right? It's just like, that's a skill.
That's
Yeah.
totally a skill.
Yeah. I feel like we're a little off track though.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's
Go-
not your fault.
Bring
So
us back on.
No, I was just going to say, why don't we wrap this up?
Okay.
Now, all right, let's do timeouts. Timeouts. This is the thing that you've done, seen, experienced, imbibed, whatever, in the last month that has taken you away from this this very demanding thing.
Me
that
first.
you do.
Me first.
You are ready. Usually it's like, oh, I don't know.
I guess normally I have nothing.
Oh, but you got something. Okay, go.
Okay,
First
so
timer.
the house in Jamaica is built. We are going in December.
Okay.
So,
You are from Jamaica, for those who
well, my parents. I'm a
Let's-
Canadian.
you're Canadian.
Let the
with
viewer
Jamaican origins.
Yeah,
let the
with
viewer
Jamaican
hear
orange.
that these two people are talking with their hands right now. Sorry, narrator.
Anyway, so we have a house, but it's not furnished. It has nothing in it. So this is the first time going, and I got to buy a bunch of things to bring out there because I don't really want to I don't want to spend 10 days of a holiday shopping. That sucks. You're in Jamaica. So I'm buying it all now. So this is what I'm doing. When I leave here, it's like, okay, where am I going next? I've bought sheets, I've bought towels, and just things that are actually going to go in the house. Most people will be like, ew, boring. But it's fun because it's not for here, it's for Jamaica. So every time I'm making a list in my head of all the things I need to purchase.
You're Santa.
Yeah, and it's like not even Christmas, and they're not getting wrapped. They're just sitting there piling up in the corner of my room, and now we got to buy suitcases to put this all in and bring it to Jamaica. Yeah,
Hashtag Santa problems.
yeah. Anyone got a sleigh?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, mine.
Go ahead.
I'll go because I'm sure Sean's going to have the most warmest, fuzziest, inspiring
I
thing
know,
to say.
it's
So
so
it's a good way
sad.
to cap things
So
off.
sad.
Yeah, he'll do something.
Santa.
You're not allowed to say anything about snowboarding. So, no, my time out was huge this past month. It was Disneyland. We went down to LA for my sister-in-law's wedding, which their venue was canceled the day before the wedding because of the fires there in California right now. So they had to, scramble, get a new place. That was interesting, but that's why I went down. But because we were there, let's just tack on 4 extra days, go to Disneyland with the kids. And, it was great. Like we went everywhere and did everything kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
not on a schedule that was like, we must do this, we must do that. It was just
Right.
like, let's go. Oh, this looks interesting. That looks interesting. That's great. Let's do that. And so good. So good. And then, you can just hang out in the pool. The kids run around in the splash pool stuff. Like, I was tired after, I guess.
Yeah.
But, in a good way, not in a like, I have spent, my candle is burned out. This was very much like
But it felt good. It's a good burning out.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so good. So,
That's
yeah.
good burning.
Disneyland. What?
That's a good burning.
It is a very good burning. Yes, I shouldn't be saying burning so much in relation to my time in California. So, apologies.
No,
Too soon.
no.
Too soon.
Yeah, just like telling someone who's going to leave in a week that they're fired. So,
Yeah.
let's just cap it off.
true.
Let's bookend the thing with 2 stupid things that I've said now. But now, you see, here you're to save me. This is why you go last. See?
So
You can talk about how you were like painting with clouds and.
so good.
No.
That'd be awesome. Actually, the timeouts that I've had a few, they've been actually quite disruptive in my life. Because again, I am at my most unhealthy, an addict to busy. Timeouts that I've had, I would invite any of your listeners to do this because I think this has been deeply profound for me. I've actually sat, so the two different things. I took off to the mountains, which I don't normally do because it's not productive time. It's just, then you're just sitting and drawing hearts in your bedroom and in your front door. But I actually took off to the mountains at one point, and
No snowboarding. Not allowed to say snowboarding.
not allowed to say snowboarding because that's my other one.
For 2 months running now?
Yeah, I actually went up to the mountains. I drove in my van. I had opportunity to go to a meeting that was very productive and very like career forwarding, and I said no because that's dumb. And I
What?
well, it's not that it's dumb. It was dumb. It was a poor choice for me. So I actually just said I'm going to go to the mountains, and I turned on music, and it was absolutely an experience like I haven't had in a while. So just to be able to be in the mountains, the actual mountains, the Rocky Mountains, and turned on one of my favorite albums from Sleeping at Last. And I would invite anyone to just sit in front of that for a little while. And then I went to my favorite establishment. It's a pub. And for me, I probably incorrectly label it the Holy of Holies, but it is my Holy of Holies. It's a space that I go and I have all sorts of memories there because my family goes there. Near and dear sort of go there. And I'm in my addiction to busyness, I was going to get back to the meeting and get back to all the space. And I finally just said, no, I don't actually need to be back to this space. So I took about 3 hours of time. I would listen to music. I actually wept in my vehicle and I would stop along the way. I found a campfire at one point. I went in front of the campfire and I just sat there and just reflected. Not just reflected. My brain was mostly off, but just looked out on the beauty of the mountains. So
you can sit still.
Oh, I can sit still, but it's not that it has to be
stuff.
He needs mountains. He can't do it in his house.
No.
Yeah, because I am potentially weaker in this. I need to go to very strategic places where the vision is large.
You can't lay a floor in the mountains. I get it.
Also that, yeah, no, it takes me away from those sort of tendencies.
Good if you really tried.
Yeah. So I've had about 3 or 4. Now that's going to be a challenge in my mind. I'm like, I'm going to build a floor in the mountains. Yeah, no, I've had 3 or 4 of those experiences that have been absolutely instrumental, and that has made a complete difference in my year. It's just I would call it soul recreation space, and it's total recreation. So,
and this is why Shaun always goes last. See.
And then I snowboarded.
It's so nice.
That's so good.
Because I'm like, Disney.
I love Disney too. I like.
I've never been.
I went. I like the beach.
I've been in 30 years. So this is last time I was in like grade 4.
0 times.
Yeah.
You've been by it though.
When?
Because you got in trouble in LA. So that's a story for another time. Somebody's
That sounds like a
jail.
great story.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh.
Next podcast.
Yeah.
Is the times we went to jail with Nadine.
Tune in next time.
Yeah.
With Nadine.
Yeah.
All right, we done?
I think so.
Yeah.
We're done.
Right on.
This episode of Ed is brought to you by Back to School Again. It's a podcast about people who made the decision in midlife to return to school, either to pursue a new type of career, to augment their current career, or just for the sheer challenge of learning something new. It chronicles the personal journey of host Katrina Ingram, who's back in school after more than 2 decades away. It features conversations with a wide range of midlife learners who are currently enrolled in post-secondary studies or have recently completed a post-secondary degree. The podcast shares their stories, what brought them to this moment, how they balance the responsibilities of school, work, and family, and where they hope their educational pursuits will take them. The podcast is available now in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and most other podcatchers. You can also find the episodes and the show notes at backtoschoolagain.ca. Back to School Again is presented by Northwest College and is an affiliated member of the Alberta Podcast Network. Find it and our other affiliates at albertapodcastnetwork.com. And if you want to get in touch or you want to be a guest on the show, you can email me at theedpodcast@gmail.com or hit me up on Twitter @theedpodcast. If you'd like to listen to more of this show, you can head over to the website, theedpodcast.podbean.com, or you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcatcher of your choice. Just search up Ed Conversations. Ed is a proud member of the Alberta Podcast Network, powered by ATB. Ed can also be heard on VoiceEd Radio. It's 24-hour internet broadcasting devoted to the best ideas in education. Just head over to voiced.ca. So, on behalf of myself and Shaun and Nadine, thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.